This show is powered by BL3P, the Lightning-enabled European Bitcoin exchange.
Connetti il mondo.
Sync, Cypher.space, Soft.biz, Belgium.
Belgium's history of chocolate making dates back centuries, with the country producing some of the finest chocolates in the world. Belgian chocolate is often handmade by artisans, which sets it apart from mass production brands. While dark chocolate is often praised for its health benefits, Belgian milk chocolate is world-renowned. Do you prefer milk chocolate over dark chocolate?
Yes.
The cypherpunk movement began in the late 1980s, championing the use of cryptography to protect privacy in an increasingly digital world. In the age of mass surveillance and data collection, these ideals seem more relevant than ever. Do you think the principles of the cypherpunk movement are more important today than when they first started?
Yes.
While Nostrdam prioritizes privacy and freedom of speech, it might not be as convenient as traditional social media platforms that offer sleek, user-friendly interfaces. Do you think mainstream users are willing to give up convenience for more privacy and censorship resistance?
No.
Belgium is known for claiming the best fries in the world. Belgian fries are iconic, but the country also has other popular street foods. If you had to choose, would you consider fries the ultimate Belgian street snack?
Yes.
Well, ostriches are the largest birds on the planet, reaching up to 9 feet tall and weighing up to 150 kilograms. A common myth is that ostriches bury their heads in the sand when they're scared, though in reality they lower their heads to the ground to stay hidden. This behavior often misleads predators into thinking that they are part of the landscape. Have you ever believed the myth that ostriches bury their heads in the sand?
No.
Are you looking forward to speaking at Nostrdam?
Yes.
Belgium is home to several Trappist monasteries where monks brew beer according to centuries-old recipes. These beers are highly priced and must meet strict criteria to be labeled Trappist. Do you think that the spiritual and religious origins of Trappist beer make it more appealing to beer enthusiasts?
Yes.
Do you already pick your favorite dishes from the menu at BRINGIN?
No.
Adam Back is the inventor of Hashcash, a proof-of-work system that became a fundamental technology for Bitcoin mining. Created in 1997, Hashcash was originally designed to combat email spam. Do you think Hashcash's success in Bitcoin has overshadowed its original purpose of preventing spam?
Yes.
Are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
No.
Welcome to the Connected World Weekly Podcast. I'm Edward.
And I'm Steph. We are ready to take you with us into the beautiful world of the Lightning Network.
Enjoy the ride. This is episode 123 of Connected World, and this show is made possible by our friends from BL3P, the Bitcoin European Bitcoin exchange in the Netherlands. That's what I wanted to say. And of course, our friends from BRINGIN, the BRINGIN app. Thank you guys for helping us out with our mission to connect the world with Bitcoin through the Lightning Network. And if you also want to help out with our mission, then of course you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter. And of course, if you have any questions at all, you can head over to our Telegram group where you can ask us anything. And the donation is, of course, always welcome. Well, Steph,
yes.
Let's start with some extra news, of course, for tomorrow. Because tomorrow is our Nostrdam seminar conference, mini conference day that we're hosting at BRI Amsterdam.
Yes.
Roman has done a lot of work to pull this off. So we want to share it again with our listeners that might not have a ticket already, because The ticket is still, you can buy it still at our website, Nostrdam.com. Or, of course, bitkassa.nl/Nostrdam. It costs €39.99 and at the door €50. So please buy it at 400.
Yeah, help yourself, stack some more sets, and just buy your ticket.
That's better.
Online, yes, that's better. Then you save yourself some valuable euros you can convert into sets.
Okay, and now the most important thing, because in a nutshell, what are people that are attending and are buying the ticket are going to receive? Steph.
Food in the first place,
great
because
food,
Bri is a restaurant, a great restaurant.
Yeah.
It's a barbecue place, vegetarian, fish and meat. All of those things are available. The most important thing is of course that we have some great speakers, including Sink, who is guest to the show today. But also Will Kessering, Wouter Constant, Tomek, and many, many more. So, Sink, maybe you can already give us, just a tip of the iceberg of what you're going to talk about tomorrow. And maybe we can attract some more people.
This is Sink. Tell us more.
I'll be showing the ins and outs a little bit of Cypher.space and some of the ways you can deploy it yourself, together with some of the ways that it's been constructed. So it's
awesome.
A bit of an insight into the build process a little bit.
Yeah, the great and the hands-on to install it yourself. So that's great because. We all like to develop. Not everybody is good at it, but if you're good at it, we're also hosting, combined with Nostrdam, a hackathon with bounties, a total of 1 million in sets. And we, as Connect the World, are also giving away a bounty for setting up a Connect the World client. And our sponsor Nextblock is also giving away 2 bounties for creating a widget. And Nostr Special Forces, Vjetjev and Constant, are also giving away 3 bounties. And of course, the conditions and the rules are will be announced later. But I think, if you like Nostr and if you're a programmer, then this hackathon, it will be awesome. Of course.
Yeah. So starting at
live
1
music.
PM. That's correct. Starting at 1 PM, October 8th, so tomorrow. I think we're starting just with a cup of coffee and some tea and hackathon.
Starting slow.
And just starting with the real thing, and then when everybody is getting tired, we will have some great food. And later on, I think it's 8:30 or 7:30. We will open up the doors for everyone who wants to attend, and then it's just free access to everyone. And we will just have some drinks together. There will be some live music. I will play some techno music for you guys, and we also have Peter, the Nostr artist, who will do a phenomenon live set there with some live electronic music. Well, we just had a bit of a pre-talk sync, and you told us that you also made some music in the past. So man,
awesome.
It will be a night to never forget. So we're really looking forward to it.
And of course, the 2 days at Bitcoin Amsterdam, we're going to create content. So everybody who's not attending or not or just wants to listen back, because there's a lot to see and to check out there. You can, of course, check our YouTube channel where we will. And the
evenings of the conference itself, we have the original Connect the World meetups also at Bri. So
Bri is the only thing that you need to remember.
just remember Bri and just be
tomorrow,
there October 8th, 9th and 10 in the evening, or October 8th from 1 PM. But the other 2 days in the evening, and just connect to us. So that's the plan. And now we have Sink in the show, giving us
welcome, Sink.
Yeah, welcome, welcome. Good to have you from Belgium. That's that stands out. And we asked you also a lot of things about things in Belgium, and you were very in doubt when I asked you if fries are your favorite Belgium street snack. What were the other options you considered?
Well, like that's kind of the thing. Like I would say probably fries, but yeah. Like we have such a weird selection of deep frying snacks and deep frying culture. I would say that there could be so many things to choose from. But yeah, no, I think Belgian deep frying culture and Dutch deep frying culture as well is fairly unique in the world, I would say.
It is. And you could also add the UK with their fish and chips, obviously. And it's funny because if you just came back from holiday in Spain, and not that Spain has a great a kitchen, but France and Italy and the paella and all, but I mean, the
not only the paella,
the Italian cuisine. No, that's correct, and the wines and all. But I mean, Italian and France, that are that's right. I mean, that's if you love food, you love those two.
You've seen Emily in Paris, right? Because there's France, and now it's in Rome, and they're just showing all the awesome places and food. That's correct. But we are, and that's correct, Sink. We are known for our deep fry culture. So that's right.
And I must confess, that's a stupid, silly thing, but we have in Holland, and I think also in Belgium, we have frikandellen. So it's like a sausage, deep fried sausage. And I also, because I went to campings in Spain with my children, and I was in a supermarket there, and I saw in the cooler, I saw that they also sold those frikandellen. So I must confess, I just bought one package of frikandellen, and one evening we had frikandellen for dinner. Edward, isn't it? It could be more Dutch than that, right?
Crazy.
It's really stupid.
No, that's right.
It's really stupid when you can get the most fabulous paella.
And you're just longing for.
Man. So
I hope you enjoyed it.
I really did, man. Hey, Sink, we are going to talk about Cypher.space, and you also thought, and I forgot the other name, the
Softbiz.
Softbiz. Yeah, that's correct. Can you give us a small introduction to those two projects of you before we start the interview?
Well, the endeavor is to look into enabling more Lightning e-commerce, but mostly through web applications or web shops, and then also tying in Nostr with also like the idea of you hosting your products and your content, your messages, and that entire social layer to have that also somewhat baked into the shop itself.
Okay.
That's a very short rendition of.
So, and we already made the joke in the pre-talk that you found yourself in the niche of the niche of the niche of the niche of the niche. That there couldn't be anything in the world that's more niche than what you're doing, right?
Well, there might be a couple more niche things that I found, but it is a very, very small community of builders who are looking into like peer-to-peer markets and more commerce enabled things. It's also a little bit of not a dangerous space, but we've talked in the pre-show too about like moderation of making sure that like a censorship resistant might not be the thing that drives everybody towards selling things for Bitcoin, right? Like there's a lot of legit purposes to enable commerce.
Because that counters adoption, because then everybody thinks, well, it changes the narrative to negative.
The stereotype is already that Bitcoin is for criminals and only has an illegitimate purpose, so we don't need to stimulate that anymore. I think that's
you add some more sauce. You add some more sauce to that.
More fire,
The multiplier. Okay, man. Let's talk about the things you're working on, but it has to be in the 21 minutes sync. So If you're ready, we would really love to enter that part.
Yeah.
The 21 Minutes is brought to you by BRINGIN, the app to reliably sell and spend Bitcoin from any wallet. Let's just start right away. Cypher.space positions, like you said, well, as a self-hosted Bitcoin-only alternative to WordPress and Spot and Shopify, so running a marketplace. Can you walk us through how the value for value model is integrated into the platform and what makes it unique to compare to other CMS platforms?
Most of it is still trying to achieve a build process where the end result is something static. So we're still trying to find ways to leave the database model a little bit behind. Also because we're mostly looking for vendors who have like maybe 100 products. So not a huge inventory system is technically needed for small commerce. Because if there's no real database system behind it, it alleviates that cost model. So if you can just host HTML, JavaScript on any static cloud host these days for absolutely nothing, it's fairly robust. And if the Nostr integration's there, like most of the server side handling is then technically the relays that are doing some of the more heavy lifting in this case. And your MVP currently requires Node.js version 18 and runs on Nuxt.js stack. Can you explain the technical advantages of using these technologies for Cypher.space and why they were chosen over the other frameworks that are available? Yeah. I'm mostly familiar with Nuxt and Vue as a stack in general. The other one is React and Svelte that are very popular stacks to build and deploy on. But it's more of a showcase, so somebody could also build this quite easily in React. It shouldn't be too much work to port some of these things over. It's more the deployment stack can vary a little bit between framework and it's just something that you're a bit more familiar with if you're trying to do static deployments. The last thing that you kind of want to figure out is why it doesn't deploy on a cloud where you have absolutely no control over what the bottom layer is doing. So it's just something that I find more comfortable with Vue and Nuxt.js.
Well, and talking about the cloud, I find it interesting because you said it already. When you combine Relay using Nostr, and this is of course self-hosted, but is it a problem that relays are hosted on cloud-based solutions? Do you think in the end?
Yeah, in the long term, it's. Yeah, I think all of that base infrastructure and all that cheap infrastructure that has been built over the last couple of years, like Amazon and Google have been doing like a price war, like everything is super cheap to run infra. And I think that's kind of also why for now it kind of helps with scaling. So it's good that it doesn't cost too much, but in the long term, if we're all going to be dependent again on AWS or a different cloud provider, if all of it's not somewhere bare metal in somebody's basement, then
redundancy is very important, of course.
Exactly.
And that's also interesting because there are some sounds, but it is super difficult. You have Google, you have Amazon, you have, of course, Microsoft. A lot of businesses tend to go to all those cloud-based solutions because they're just robust, redundant. But there is also some people who are cheering to have something similar in Europe. And it's just it costs so enormous amount of money to even build it. Like they have a super advantage being able to create it thus far. Do you think in the end we will achieve something similar, or is the only solution that things that are new need to be and remain small?
Yeah, I think to some extent, like we see the same maybe with like the decentralized mining, like with a bidax, like a small instance that you run at home. And I think the same with like an Umbrel node, right? Like if we can all find something that is just a general computation device that already sits in somebody's home that also acts as a relay, then those people from that household can maybe access, like use that as a storage medium in the long term. So that would be a good way to spread it out. But if we start looking at places like where the clients really start shining, like Primal and stuff like that, like all of these have gigantic cache layers, at least to do some type of filtering and content moderation to some extent. Yeah. And I think that's where all of this cloud infrastructure, of course, starts shining. And it's a good thing that it comes so cheap so far. So the cost of it is still that an individual with good enough intentions can start a relay and start hosting a decent amount of
makes it easy
I want to go back to the frameworks for a bit, because for those unfamiliar with development environments, setting up Node.js and cloning repositories might feel a bit intimidating. What resources or support are available for non-technical users who want to host, self-host a Cypher.space instance?
There are still a couple other cloud providers like Netlify that do have like one-click deployments of like a repository, like it just like does all the heavy lifting, or like does that part of the installation at least. The other way is like Cypher.space or .soft.biz, where it's already a hosted environment for them, and with their Nostr key they can then for now like register a NIP05, which then also acts as a subdomain. So it's not that they would host it themselves, but if a couple of these variations like soft.biz or Cypher.space get deployed in a couple of different places, you will always be able to access that website through that portal or through that gateway, if you can call it that. So it's not self-hosted then anymore, I would say. Like, of course, somebody else is doing that part of it, but most of the content and nodes can maybe be pushed to relays. So from that point, it's at least decentralized to that extent.
And you also, I've read the tutorial, and you also mentioned that the configuration options to configure the website are stored in a config folder and can be edited through Visual Studio Code or the GitHub website. How do you ensure that, we were talking about the non-technical user, but that even users with minimal coding experience can successfully customize their site, because of course they want to reflect their own brand and style?
The second part of the Cypher build would be the admin panel, where you can like administer the products and some of the long form content nodes. But it would also be there that it would kind of make sense to do changes to the menu for the footer, for the header menu, and allow these changes to be done over Nostr. So I think Arthur Broesman is also with the NPub Pro sites also experimenting in that, and there's also NSite, which is also a project that looks into putting this HTML content on Blossom relays, so to store it decentralized that way. And that's there are some alternatives there to pursue that. It would just be like you would look into a content management system today, where you can change the menu settings and all of these things, but it would just be the backend would be done over Nostr. But some of these NIPs, I think, I don't think all of these NIPs already exist. I think it's still a big work in progress to see if we can get website customization done over the Nostr protocol.
Of course.
And are there also plans to integrate this in other software implementations? For instance, Umbrel, they also have an app store, obviously. I mean, this can also obviously help to further streamline or simplify the development for non-developers.
I think with Umbrella as well, like if it can just be packaged up a bit as a Docker container, it should be able to also be deployed on an Umbrella instance. The thing, of course, is that you would have to have some type of open port or some way to the outside to reach in, and that's always like a little bit of a bit more of a sketchy thing when it's especially your home connection, right? Like for now, it seems like the cloud, especially also since relays can be a little bit slow and sluggish. So maybe it's better to still offload this for the cloud.
And since Umbrella also functions as your Lightning wallet and your Lightning node,
or for Tailscale perhaps, or
Bitcoin node, and also I mean,
it's going to be a beefy device at the end of at the end of all of these installs. It's gonna.
That's also what people do with headless devices, like for example Synology, NAS or something, that they install there a Docker or make it a web-based server. But of course, it requires a little bit of understanding about networking and also the liabilities there. And are there any limitations or constraints that users should be aware of, such as compatibility issues with certain hosting services like Cloudflare or Vercel or something?
Yeah, the one that I found so far, the one limitation, like the Cloudflare deployments work 99% out of the box. Mm-hmm. The only one that Cloudflare does not support is wildcard subdomain names. So I use the npub as a subdomain route. Yeah. That can also be translated as a NIP05, or like at least the beginning part of the NIP05. But Vercel is one of the cloud hosts that does allow that type of wildcard domain naming. So Vercel is the one where the way that Cloudflare also deploys it is sometimes more like a static build. Like it will have a Node.js instance to do the build of the application and then deploy it as a static website with no Node.js backend, while the Vercel actually has an actual running Node.js server or VPS behind it that can handle a little bit more.
So that's interesting to know for users which hosting services are perhaps more suitable for them or to use. Yeah.
But if you run the standard Nostr version and the Lightning version of Cypher, they all deploy on any cloud host so far that I've tested. Okay. So it's only with the wildcard domaining that there's something specific that Cloudflare as a feature doesn't have. So it's one missing item.
And given that the platform is designed to run on free cloud hosting, how does Cypher.space handle scalability as user traffic or resource demands might grow, obviously? That's what you hope for.
Yeah, if you're running your obscure Cypher.space marketplace and a lot of people are going to
buy the green stuff, the green stuff from Edward Hollander.
Yeah. No. Scalability is definitely something where I think for most of these things there will be small, very clear shop websites that have just small instances of products. For those who are willing to venture out into putting products online in the clear net that are questionable to authorities, I think that would be a different way to go, and definitely also deployment and scalability on those instances. That would definitely be not on the cloud host somewhere. That would be some bulletproof box somewhere
behind, only accessible through Tor network. And
the deployment guide for hosting this and having illegal stuff. I don't think I'm going to write that one. Somebody else can figure it out.
It's great that you're not doing that. No. Hey, and we talked a little bit about user friendliness and also customization and plans for an admin backend. I also use WordPress, and I think a lot of builders have a lot of customization that can be done within a dashboard. What plans do you have to? Because I don't know how it works now, but if you want to perform updates how does it work now? And do you also have plans to make that a little bit more easy without interacting with the need of to use code, for example?
Yeah. The best way so far seems to be to just use Nostr as the layer to do these changes. Use long form content for blog posts. Use a couple nips for the menu, the header and footer. The products in and of itself can use nip 15 and nip 99. The nip 15 is the one that Ben Ark uses for the Nostr market, and nip 99 is a smaller variation of that, just a more lean version. So yeah, these two nips can already be implemented. And Shopster, for example, another one that uses nip 99 as a market implementation already. So yeah, like most of it is already there, and the protocol should already allow for most of these changes to be done.
It's amazing because this gives the feeling that Nostr is the solution for the user friendliness, because everything, it's two-sided, because it can be built on Nostr, but it also uses Nostr to make it easier for people to make changes.
Yeah.
So that's
and the best case, you would have these like clients literally fighting for UX and UI, because that's the only real feature, like not only, but it's one of the features that they can really fight on, because all of the data set is technically already shared over these relays. So we're fighting over who can present this the best and who can make the user interaction feel less friction
for mainstream users. Do you think that's their goal? To lure in more mainstream users? Yeah,
definitely. Now we don't really have many clients except for the social ones, for like the Damas and the Twitter clones that's running like that. Yeah, like all of them are basically like so me clones to some variation. But the ones that are like looking for more like web other stuff kind of related things, those are like they will take some time to develop. And once these it's still a bit of a first to market still, like you'll still have the advantage of building out first, of course, but as soon as a second client shows up with the same idea, like I also want to make a marketplace, and starts building it a different way but on the same nip specs, then it's just like who can grab more of the market and who can maybe create features, and it becomes a highly competitive scene if like after a couple clients take a certain space, in the hopes that they don't dominate the space, right? Like that could also be.
Of course. Yeah.
And then how does Cypher handle SEO, search engine optimization? Because in WordPress, for instance, you just have plugins that help you, and Yoast is one of the most used plugins. How do you guys are going to handle that? And
the last update that I tried pushing for some more metadata in the links to share and things like that, kind of run into a little bit of a hiccup, because by the time a relay answers and says like, hey, this is that person and this is their bio, to shove that into the link, by that time it already rendered in most browsers as like empty, right? Like or it will show the default one that I had before, that will be overwritten as soon as like the information comes in. So from an SEO perspective, it's a little bit difficult, but since it's still a static build, all of these files are served as plain text, basically as plain files in the initial load. And then because it's all modern JavaScript frameworks, they hydrate. From that point on, it looks all like a single page application, like it all goes pretty nicely. But these days, like it's served flat file, and after that all of the hydration kind of takes over for SEO, which is also why it's built on things like Nuxt, or like for React you have Next.js, for Svelte you have SvelteKit. All of these things basically already grab all of these amazing modules to do SEO and just give them out of the gate, basically, like very modern frameworks these days.
When you announced Cypher.space, I also read on Stacker that you mentioned that only the open finance part of Cypher.space uses LB, and that you were exploring LM bits for more reliable transaction APIs. Could you elaborate on how these integrations contribute to the overall architecture of the platform, and perhaps some trade-offs and what you're using now?
Yeah. I think as well, like having always more insights and supporting your own transaction layer or like API with LM bits.
Yeah,
is definitely always the way to go. But like and props to Albi as well. Like they've always had amazing infrastructure, and so far it's always been super reliable. It's,
that's right.
it's quite like. So it's always been nice to use them as a backend, and also like a couple wallets to do just general testing without having to do much infrastructure. And since they also provide an API key where you can at least get some information via some webhooks and trigger some things. It's it was a good baseline to start with. But if you need some more juice and you need that backend infrastructure that I kind of trying to avoid with Cypher.space, and you already have an LM bits instance running, then why not, right? Like you already have a database.
That's right.
And you've expressed a goal of creating a Bitcoin-only flat file CMS with no monthly hosting costs, even when deploying on cloud providers. How do you envision the long-term sustainability and scalability of this model as the platform grows? I mean, somehow there needs to be paid.
It needs to make money somehow.
That's
true. Like something needs to put bread on the table. No, like I think it's like there are ways to monetize, like for example, the way that I've set it now up, like you can buy a subdomain, for example, for 3,000 sats. That would be a way to go. So you sell nipple fives basically is a route. A different way that I've been thinking about as well is to put advertisements on the top of each page. That can also be something Bitcoin related, of course.
So we can advertise there.
Yes, exactly. And then if somebody buys a nipple 5, the advertisements go away, right? Like so it's some type of subscription.
Okay. Yeah. Smart thinking. And I was reading through what you answered, because when we talked to you about, do you think mainstream users are willing to give up convenience for more privacy and censorship resistance? You said no. Mm-hmm. Do you think in the end we will win the battle, and this will really become mainstream? Thanks to solutions like yours.
And you are not saved by the bell, Sink. You have to answer this.
You must answer. So important. Why are we doing all this? This all needs to work, right?
Yeah. I still think that what we're now kind of shaping to some extent is some type of universal API layer for the web that we've all know how it's crafted already. And using that as a new type of backbone, but then also the idea of with P2P, we've mostly looked at like torrents and stuff like that in the past, and using that type of network, while the way of doing it with relays seems to be just dumb relays, just store the information and put all the smart logic basically on the client side. That was kind of the initial thing that if we follow that type of logic and we just focus on the UI UX for the next time, like it will take time, and it's all done by people who do this in their off time, and it's just like slow grinding.
It is.
At some point it will definitely showcase that. Like now you can already see it with the SoMe versions of Nostr, that you can go from one client to the other. But once you start noticing like more deeply rooted applications from one CMS to the other, and you start seeing that all your data is just there, like it just moved without you doing anything. Like that is something that legacy systems can't compete with unless they start like playing well with each other, which I don't think they
changing bank accounts, for example.
Yeah.
No, but that's amazing. People can't grasp it because it doesn't exist now. No. This is so easy. Yeah, that's amazing. Just log in and it works.
It's a bit of that social layer that's just been like a lot of people have been trying already, and I'm not sure that Nostr will be the final case of how it of course all looks, but it's definitely already like a good implementation of a similar variety of what Bitcoin's already like trying to push.
Indeed.
A lot has been learned from Bitcoin, and now go the other way.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Sync. Yeah.
Connectez le monde.
Well, thanks again. What are we going to do now, Steph? Because I see here another question.
Yeah, we can play lightning bingo.
Yeah.
No, we pre-recorded some questions from some people, and you may choose which one we will play. We have Avi Bura. Well, you must know him, and we have Tony Klaas, and he's from Stable Channels, but I think I can already guess which one you will go for.
Ooh, actually, Stable Channels. I would love to hear that.
Like, okay. Well, then we go for Tony Klaas.
I've been playing with it. I've been looking into it quite a lot lately with the notion of just providing e-commerce where people who are not very prone to Bitcoin's volatility might, be looking to park it a little bit more stable.
I think his question will not be about stable channels, but I don't know for sure. So just
we will take it.
But it is very interesting. Okay, here comes Tony.
I'm Tony Clausing from Stable Channels, and my question is: will there be a Bitcoin soft fork by the end of the year 2025?
Totally different.
Yeah, a soft fork by 2025.
The end of 2025.
The end, because else it would definitely be no, right? Like it's it's like 3 months. that would be a little fast, but it might be plausible. I think 2025 might still be a little fast, maybe. But I do think there's definitely mixed incentives that are slowly bubbling to the notion that the Bitcoin that's now in mainstream adoption is not the real Bitcoin anymore. So it's slowly getting there, I think. So I'll postpone it with 1 more year. I'll say 2026.
Okay. We agree on that.
We're going to speak to you again then. Thanks, Sync. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Sync.
Il mondo.
Where can people follow you? You can obviously share your NIP05, and I don't know if you're also active on Twitter, or maybe I must recommend everyone to check out the website Cypher.space because you also have some great graphics from our fellow friend Thomas, who is Thomas, the no good artist. His name is no good, not good, but
he's pretty good. He's pretty good.
He's nailing it every
amazing.
time, and he's just you can always recognize his work because it's always high end. And I wanted to ask you. You already thought it before I could ask you, but you collaborated on the graphics of the website. So everyone check out Cypher.space. But apart from Cypher.space, where can people follow you?
Yeah, I'm only on Nostr, so that's the only place that I broadcast my stuff of, or what I'm building at least. I'm also doing soft.biz. I'm mostly also slowly getting to the point where I'm more putting out more long form content over there about the build process and about deployments and things. But those are the two main. Yeah,
your NIP05 is
sync at soft.biz.
Okay.
And soft with the V.
With a V from Sovereign.
Sovereign. Ah, that's it. Okay, yeah. Cool.
All right. Well, thanks again, Sync, and of course everybody else for listening in. And of course, thanks to everyone helping to connect the world with us together. If you like our content, then please support our mission. Visit our website, connecttheworld.live, where you can also make a donation, and subscribe, like, and share our content on your favorite platform. So remember, we need you to complete our mission, connect the world. So keep those nodes running and sets flowing. And don't forget to get your ticket for Nostrdam tomorrow at BRI Amsterdam. If you don't have it already, then get to nostrdam.com and buy your ticket. And see you all next week, of course, on this same Lightning channel. Adios, Sink.
See ya, Sink.